What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Another Friday, another episode of Why Are We Bullish? We've got an awesome panel waiting in the wings to give you all the wonderful bullishness that you need on a wonderful Friday afternoon. I hope you guys have been having a good week. It's been an interesting one, to say the least. It always is, but I've got some stuff I'm excited about. Can't wait to talk about it today. And we've got kind of a unique thread, not planned through all of our guests today, but we'll figure that out as the show goes on. Of course, this is live. Anything can happen, so I defer to my friend Bill here.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
And if you have not already, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things. They help a ton getting this content in front of more eyeballs. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
And before we bring in our guests, we're going to take a quick look at where we are in the market right now. This is timechaincalendar.com, and simultaneously, I'm pulling up the live chat. Everything you say into the chat is now live for the world to see, for better or worse. So feel free to drop those comments, questions, or whatever other little waves and emojis you feel like dropping in there. But back to Timechain Calendar, we're sitting at $68,891 per coin. A single US dollar will snag you 1,452 sats. In terms of fees, looks like next block up just a little bit, 20 sats per byte anytime, 12 sats per byte. And in terms of Bitcoin mined, 19.7 million of them. That is 93.82% of the total supply. We'll do a quick little shout out to our sponsors and we'll dive right in with all our guests. Mission to enable independence by being one of the easiest and quickest ways to purchase Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And the best part about it, every buy goes directly into your own self-custody. They never hold your coins. You can add a Bitcoin address as part of onboarding. There's a transparent 1% spread, no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees. Plus they have KYC free sells and bill payments on their website. They're also a publicly traded company under the ticker BTCW on the TSXV. Check them out over at bitcoinwell.com. Check out my full tutorial on how to use them, and you can check out the links in the show notes down below and sign up today. NUNCHUK.com has some of the best hardware on the market today to secure your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and is my daily driver. And on top of this, they have plenty of other goodies, including the Mark IV, the Tap Signer, Open Dimes, the Block Clock, and much more. If you head over to their website, make sure you use code BTC Sessions at checkout to get a nice discount. Links are in the show notes down below. All right, and we're back in. I'm going to bring in our guests for today's show. Very excited to have them all. I'll welcome them all up at once, and then we'll do a round of intros. So I'm going to welcome to the stage Amanda and Valerie and Tom, and I'm very excited to have you all here. So let's do a round of intros, and I'm just going to go in order that I see on my screen, but I'll toss it over to Val. Val, can you give yourself a little intro? Who are you? What do you do?
Hey guys, aloha. Thanks so much, Ben, for having us and always doing this and rocking all of your great tutorials. Like, you are the legend. So I feel so grateful to be here. My name is DJ Valerie B. Love. I am the host and the founder of Bitcoin for Peace. And I have a podcast called Bitcoin for Peace. And we're also turning it into kind of like Bitcoin Mentor, but even a little bit different, a top of funnel for Bitcoin consultants and educators all over the world. And we want to, until we have hyper Bitcoinization, we don't have enough educators and we don't have enough consultants and we don't have enough people orange gloving people onto Bitcoin. So we're excited to start that project. And I'm super stoked. We're also working on a couple other projects, but I'm not going to tell you about them till you ask me why I'm bullish.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Very excited. Am I going to be seeing you in person at anything sometime? Are you hitting any events this year? Where are you going to be?
I don't know. Are you going to be on the dance floor in Nashville at the after party, the big closing party?
I am sadly not in Nashville this year.
Oh, well,
This
you're
is
gonna
my
miss.
first time missing one of the Bitcoin mag events since 2019.
Oh,
Believe it or
wow.
not. So yeah, no, I won't be there. I will be in terms of stateside. I'll be at Pacific this year.
Hopefully I'll be there. Yay.
Awesome. Well, maybe we'll cross paths there. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
let's also toss it down the line to Amanda. First time on the show, actually first time us digitally meeting, I suppose. So welcome to the show. Let people know who you are, what you do.
Yeah, legit. We were both at the halving. We just didn't cross paths, and I think, but whatever, it led us here. So all grateful. We'll all meet at Pacific, it sounds like. So I'm Amanda, and I'm co-founder of Bitcasa Home. So we're a Bitcoin real estate concierge, and basically we help people do P2P real estate purchases, helping people move their Bitcoin out of unfavorable countries into others with less risk of capital gains issues. So yeah, we're kind of an all roundabout Bitcoin finance service, and working mostly in Latam. And I don't want to give away why I'm bullish, but the main reason that I'm really excited to be here today is also, since I've been living here in Mexico for a while, I've been working really hard to build a Bitcoin business community, like a parallel economy. Not so much circular economy, but parallel economy. So I won't give anything away. I'll stop there.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you. Interested to hear what you're up to. And lastly, we'll toss it down the line to already. I saw a comment in the chat that said, the real estate guy. So we'll toss it over to Tom. Tom, give yourself an intro. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, that's Ivan saying that. I know Ivan well. I didn't know he was going to be here. So, hey, Ivan. Yeah, I'm Tom Karadza. Married 25 years, 2 kids, 18 and 22. Worked in tech for 9 years, Oracle, database company. And because of that, I'm embarrassed to admit, I don't know if we can swear on here. I was a shitcoiner.
You can say whatever the fuck you want, Tom.
I got into Bitcoin, and then I got into some shit coins, and I'm so embarrassed about that because I come from a database background, and I just was mystified for a few months, cleaned all that up, and got rid of all that. But after tech, I went into real estate, I guess about 15 years ago with my brother, started a brokerage to help Canadians in 2008 front run the debasement of the currency, and we were using real estate. So since then, we've worked with thousands of clients. We have a great team. And we were buying rental properties all around the Toronto area. Now it's added up to billions of properties, and not billions of properties, billions of dollars worth of properties to help Canadians kind of build an asset base to front run the debasement of the currency. And that's what I've been busy with. And then in 2020, I found Bitcoin, and it's been rabbit hole ever since. And been watching many, like Val was saying, just watching many of your videos and you teaching me and pausing the videos, with my cold card, making sure I didn't screw anything up, and then going back and resetting things. And what did Ben say? So thank you for everything you're doing, Ben.
Well, thanks for being here, man. And I'm sorry we did briefly see each other in Montreal a few days back for the Canadian Bitcoin conference, but it was like that.
Yeah, I got to say hi. Yeah.
And then we got kind of pulled in different directions, but we'll be. I feel like we'll be touching base more with each other in the coming months. Either way,
and I see Benny in the chat. Sorry, now I remember you, Benny. This gentleman came up and said hi to me as we were leaving the conference on that Friday. So yeah, funny to see to cross paths again like this.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's a few in here, and yeah, there's a few familiar names. Again, shout out to everybody in the chat that's here. Keep those comments and waves and everything coming down there, and smash that like button and everything. But now that we're kind of through our initial intros, we're going to dive into what the show's all about. So anybody that's here that's unfamiliar, this is Why Are We Bullish? Really simple premise of the show. Each one of us comes with a reason for being bullish, something in and around Bitcoin we're currently excited about. So the flow of the show is, number one, somebody's going to drop their reason for being bullish. That's their chance to rant and get off their chest whatever they're excited about. Number two, all together, we're going to riff on that reason. We're going to discuss, ask questions, comments, go down whatever rabbit holes we decide to go down. And then number three, we're going to rotate to the next person until we've all had a turn. So really simple: reason, riff, rotate. So with that, I'm gonna kick us off today, and my reason for being bullish today is actually going to be a little bit of a live demo, I suppose, of a new tool that I just tried out. And so, and this is okay. So first of all, obviously, you saw off the top of the show. Full disclosure, I'm sponsored by Bitcoin Well, but it's also because I like the cool shit that they're making. That is super useful for me. So if you're watching in the US, you'll be maybe unfamiliar with the way some of the Canadian payment system stuff works, but we have this thing called e-transfer where you can send somebody money via email. And so like you can link an email to a specific bank account, and if somebody sends you an e-transfer, it'll just auto deposit into your bank account. So I want to show something. I'm going to share, this is my phone live right now. Okay, so this is my phone, and I'm going to actually open up Mutiny Wallet, which is a Lightning wallet. It's kind of cool. If you haven't tried it, you can install it as like a web app, so you don't need to go through an app store. And it uses a lot of cool things in the background that allow you to onboard to Lightning easily. So this actually applies if you're in the US and you're looking for a replacement for Phoenix since they pulled out. I think Mutiny is a decent replacement for that. Nonetheless, I'm going to send a Lightning payment right now. So I previously you can set up contacts, and you can add a contact as a Lightning address. And so I set up one up top, this little S up top here. So I'm just going to tap on that. And it's sending a Lightning transaction to BTC sessions at sell.btcw or bitcoinwell.app. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send about, let's say like $35, which is, I don't know, how bad is the Canadian dollar right now? I don't know. That's close to 50, somewhere in that realm. Nonetheless, I'm sending around $35 US, which is probably, in the high 40s for Canadian dollars. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to confirm send, and I'm going to send off this Lightning transaction. Now, hopefully there's a decent Lightning route, but either way, long and the short of it is I'm sending a simple Lightning transaction off from straight from my Lightning wallet. So off it goes. So that just left, and I just got an email saying that I have money in my bank account now. So that Lightning transaction instantly triggered an e-transfer to my bank account, and I already have the money in my bank at this moment.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So like, okay, so I know I'm gonna get some shit in the chat right now. Selling is not bullish. Selling is never bullish. I know, but sometimes you need to like make a purchase, or you need to do something, and like fiat is hard to escape. So what I'm bullish on is the idea that Bitcoin can be so easily integrated into this antiquated bullshit fiat system that we have. They have no idea what's coming in terms of just plugging in. And the fact that I just sent a Lightning payment and got notified and have an e-transfer sitting in my bank account inside of 1 minute is astounding. I think it's super, super cool. So anyways, that's why I'm bullish. It's a short demo because it's really fast and awesome. But tip of the hat to Adam, who put that together. He's coming up with some pretty cool things. So it's literally, I didn't even have to log in. I just have the Lightning address, and whatever amount I send to it, boom.
So sorry, that was Canada only?
That's Canada only.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, that's just, I can't wait till that goes cross-border, because we were just trying to send US dollars cross-border to somebody recently. That would have saved us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's literally like all they. Yeah, actually, you could just say this is my Lightning address for my Bitcoin Well account, and somebody could send you a Lightning payment, and you'd get money in your bank account.
Yeah, that's right. So it can come into us.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh, I still have a Canadian bank.
But it's pretty wild. Yeah, like it's quite the way that they built it. It's and part of it, what I'll say is, the reason that stuff like this and what other, what a number of companies can kind of do and plug into in regards to payments in Canada, it's partly due to the fact that the Canadian payment system is so centralized that it's like if you can find any inroads to it, you can pretty much pay anything. Whereas in the US, it's a lot more segmented from state to state. So it's like you have to navigate all of that different stuff. Whereas Canada, it's just kind of like this one, there's like 2 payment systems and that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know, like I wonder if it's going to be more and more difficult to stop, because we've seen a lot of stuff where there'll be some sort of a product or something that finds its way into legacy finance, and then something will get shut down, but then something new will pop up, and it kind of seems like it's becoming whack-a-mole, because Bitcoiners are a crafty bunch. And everybody finds their way to be like, oh, this doesn't interoperate. Like, we'll just build something cool and we'll make it work instantly, like I just demoed, and it'll just be convenient. And I almost think that it's going to get to the point where people are like, why in the hell are you stopping this? Like, look how easy this is. Why wouldn't you allow this to happen? Like, if that were to get shut down, it'd be like, you don't want somebody to be able to send $50 in 30 seconds directly into my bank account? Like, why are you standing in the way of this kind of amazing convenience that gives us this interoperability between systems that the Lightning Network enables? Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, it feels crazy when I travel and I come home and I have to pay somebody back. And if they're not a Bitcoiner yet, we're trying to turn them into Bitcoiners. But if they're not, and I really do have to send US dollars at this point in 2024, to not be able to send US dollars from Canada with any ease, to me is bananas. Like, I try to use PayPal. I don't know if you guys have tried it. Like, it's a horrible experience. So this is giving me hope.
Yeah. Not to mention that they scrape away. So like I don't know if I think I talked to you, but I charge when somebody books me for a session, I typically don't want the dollars, but I started charging a premium if somebody's going to pay me in dollars. And then they kept on paying me in dollars. So then I upped the premium. I charge 20% extra if somebody's going to pay me in dollars now.
Way to go. Well done. It should be, because fiat is inconvenience, like Tom said. It's a pain in the cojones.
That's the message that I want to get across. It's not that I want to give a discount for Bitcoin. It's I want to communicate that, no, I'm charging extra because this other thing you're trying to pay me in is worse. And so, like, if somebody doesn't get it yet, okay, fair enough. But like, I want them to be like, geez, I better learn Bitcoin so I can pay. And there's something to be said about people are more likely to work to not lose something they already had than to work to gain something they never had in the first place. So like, if you see a price and say you see a price that's $100, and you're expecting that price, you're already anchored in that price, and then you get through and it says payments, Bitcoin, $100, and then it says fiat, like any bank transfer, and it says plus 20%, and then a tally with $120 down below. Somebody's gonna be like, I don't want to pay an extra $20. It feels like they're losing something at that point. There's something that plays in the brain where they're like,
but now, because of Bitcoin Well, you can tell your customers, just e-transfer and pay me.
Yeah, you can. There's going to be so much interoperability where you can just. My dream is getting to the point where no matter what somebody tries to pay me in, it not only will default to Bitcoin, but it will default to Bitcoin in the method that I want to handle it in. Like, maybe it goes X% to long-term savings, assuming it's over a certain threshold, and then the rest into like a spending Lightning wallet. Like, I think this is the future where it's like every payment that I get, this is how I want it to split. Or at a certain threshold, it goes to long-term savings on chain, or however you want to handle it. I think that's where it's going. Val, how do you handle, like, I know, like, being in the US, there's lots of different options, and it's varied compared to Canada, but like, are you still, when you're dealing with stuff, are you dealing with a lot of fiat payments now? Are you dealing with a lot of Bitcoin? Is it a mix? Like, how's it working for you?
Yeah, it's a mix. And same thing like Zaprite. I've been beta testing Zaprite for the summit, which has been super cool. So you can set a discount or a premium, however you want to do it. With, you have to pay more if you're going to pay in dollars, and you can set your stuff there. So I think that's a really cool, I like that functionality for sure. But I think, it's always going to depend on who's your audience. Are they completely new and they don't understand yet? Can you get them a mini tutorial so they can get the Bitcoin right away and pay you that way and get that 20% off or whatever your discount rate is? So yeah, but I think, obviously Bitcoiners are always going to want to do that, but we don't want to let go of our sats either. But I think, for me, like, because when I think about, medium of exchange, and a lot of people are like, oh, nobody ever wants to do that. And I'm like, well, every time you're using the SWIFT system, you're saying yes to that fiat bullshit. So if you do want to start using Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, and like today I'm going to go spend, $100 worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to go get $100 worth of Bitcoin today, and then I'm going to spend it today. So I don't feel like I'm, losing money or losing my sats. I'm just trying to opt into the system a different way. So I think there's lots of workarounds. Like, how do you guys do that?
Yeah, Amanda, dive in.
I think when you earn in sats, that's the thing. Like, that's why I'm so crazy about earning in sats. Even when I have a fiat transaction, I request them to please pay me in sats. Because depending on your time preference, even if you have one halving, you can buy a lot of things at like 70% off, which to me is like, why would I use fiat when everything I buy with Bitcoin is 70% off? So because I earn in Bitcoin, it sits a bit different.
Yeah, I agree. Val, I just wanted to say, you mentioned Zaprite, and I jumped back on there today. I use it all the time, but check out, they added support for Mutiny Wallet, the one that I was just using.
Nice.
So I was very excited. It's easy. You literally just type in your Lightning address, and then like whenever you create an invoice, people get the option to pay in Lightning, and then it'll bring up an invoice and they've got so many different options. Like, you can plug in like on chain, if you're running your own Lightning node. They have liquid options, Strike, IBEX, Unchained. Like, they've got fiat payments baked in too, because you're probably going to have some customers still paying in fiat. But then again, like, they've got like Alby, Square, Wire, Mutiny, Coin Corner, Zebedee, like all kinds of different options, and a bunch in the works. Like, I can't wait for them to add BTC Pay, and Blink, and Voltage, and like, for you guys in the States, Swan and everything, Open Node, Cash App. Like, there's so much that they've got here. And like, I've been using this all year, and it's been great. Like, for doing invoices, for I also have like little payment links for people, like if it's like a singular product. And I hear the rumblings about the point of sale terminal, and that I need that in my life, like ASAP.
That'll be good.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. Tom, I'm curious, do you guys deal in Bitcoin payments very often? I know you guys preach the Bitcoin gospel, but is anybody paying you in Bitcoin currently for your services?
Not really. No, I feel like listening to you guys, I'm like, we're the opposite. I have like people who come into our office, and I'll force them to download a Blue Wallet, and I'll send them Bitcoin. So you guys are all receiving Bitcoin, and I'm the person, making everyone I bump into accept Bitcoin from me. And now saying this more publicly, it's might be a bad thing, but that's what I'm doing. I'm getting people to like, get a Lightning wallet and show them Lightning transactions. So no, I'm going the opposite direction. You guys have it all right. I have it all wrong. So don't do what I'm doing. But it is interesting getting people to have it, because I remember giving to one of our lawyers, like I forced him to, older gentleman, forced him to get it, ignores it for a few years, thinks Bitcoin's dead. You know the story. And then he comes into the office the other day and I get him to open the wallet and he looks at it and he's shocked. So I'm kind of just doing that. But as a business, no, we're telling everybody to have Bitcoin, but we're not really dealing in Bitcoin transactionally.
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of time. You know what the better money is. You know what you want.
Yeah. We're totally willing to it. Anyone who talks to us or calls into our office for like membership fees, which are kind of like a monthly thing, we'll gladly take it. But we don't have it like on our website or anything like that just yet. But we will gladly take it. I think we've convinced a lot of people to just hold it. So I'm not sure many of our clients really want to be parting ways with it right now. Yeah. But there are some things, like I've just noticed, like, I don't know, Ben, how your thoughts on the Aqua app there, but that one I really like for explaining things to people now, because you can see the Bitcoin balance. And then you know how right underneath it, you see Lightning Liquid. Yeah. And you know how it's labeled like savings, Bitcoin is your savings. And then under Lightning, I think that's like, it says spending or something like that. Spending wallet. I feel like that's just such a brilliant way to communicate Bitcoin to new people. Yeah. Because they see that and they just instantly think, oh yeah, Bitcoin is for savings and here's my spending money. I'm going to use these other things. So I think we're coming we're making definite progress. Yeah. But no, I'm sending it out. We're not receiving right now.
Well, don't worry. I'll come visit all of the clients and be like, yes, you should absolutely own Bitcoin, but also you should give it to Tom.
We will accept. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
it would have saved me. Sorry, Ben, now that you're saying that, what is, like today I made a Lightning transaction to a person in Germany. So we're saying, but all of this talk is just like, I have family who grew up in Croatia. They went through hyperinflation in the 90s. Like I have so they lost their currency completely. It does, and a currency collapse in the 90s, and with my family there, it doesn't affect people who don't have money, because you don't have money. It doesn't affect people with assets, because generally they get their assets back just denominated in a different currency. But the middle class, if you were able to save, you get completely wiped out. And seeing that with my aunts in real time really just, it kind of gets me going when I see this stuff. Like I'm both excited and then also frustrated when people don't understand the value and importance of this, especially within North America. And then as another example, just about 4 years ago in Croatia, a bank went bankrupt. So a bank that, I know of in Croatia, where I know some people had money in, went bankrupt. And in North America, we just don't talk about that stuff. That's like something that doesn't happen here. So when you see all these technologies coming out and the speed at which you can move money around, it's powerful.
Yeah, it's impressive. And it's only going to accelerate. And I think the people that will come to it and use it in the transactional nature are going to be either the people that are locked out of the existing banking system, or where it solves such a friction for them that it's a no-brainer to use. And that comes slowly. They need to become aware of it. But yeah, it's beautiful. Also, Croatia, love it there. I miss it. I went years and years ago with my wife. It's beautiful.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we go every summer, and we're going back. And yeah, someone in the comments is saying they're from Croatia Split. I'm trying to figure out who this person is.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll put a bow on my topic. Thank you for entertaining it. We're gonna do a rotation now. We'll say hey to everybody in the chat again. Thank you guys for being here. Keep on dropping in your comments, and if we see anything that we want to pull up or chat about, we will. But I'm going to toss it over to Val, and I'll queue you up with the same question everybody's going to get for the evening. Why are you bullish?
Oh my gosh. I'm bullish on the Bitcoiners who are generously donating their time, treasure, and talent tomorrow for 7 hours at our very first Bitcoin Creators Virtual Summit. And can I share a screen? Is it okay to add one?
Yeah, you share it, and then I'll bring it up once I see it pop up here. Awesome. There you go. It's coming. There we go.
There you go. So basically, this came about after at Madeira. Actually, I got to moderate the music panel, and Oscar from Fountain and Tim and Joe and a bunch of us, we were talking about, how many people out there don't understand, value for value and Lightning and Noster and Zaps, and, how a lot of creators have to wait for, their royalty checks, and are they actually, transparent? Are they accurate? Are they, fair? And so what we were excited about doing is, okay, well, what if we did like a little virtual hang and just everybody kind of came and talked about, what Bitcoin means to them as a creator, whether you're an artist, whether you're a DJ, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're an entrepreneur, a filmmaker, writer, whatever. And so a bunch of us got together and we're like, well, what can we do? And so tomorrow we're going to be talking about all sorts of cool stuff in addition to wellness and health, because as we all know, if we don't have, wellness and health, how can we get our missions done as Bitcoiners and creatives out there? And so we're going to have 7 panels tomorrow, which is kind of cool. And there, we'll go to the schedule. So it's going to start at 11 a.m. Eastern. And so it's just great. So I hope you guys can show up. It's all value for value. It's donation based. And the whole intention is really to, bring new people together and also bring, current Bitcoiners together. Because, obviously, as we all know, every day there's something new happening in Bitcoin. And how do we keep up with this tool or that tool? And, Ben is obviously legendary at trying to make sure that we understand all this stuff. But there's also, just so much going on. And I don't think any one of us could actually, really cover all the bases. So we thought, well, what if we all joined forces and did this? So I'm really excited. We've got over, I think, 100 people registered so far. And our goal is to, really cross-pollinate and get on other people who are excited about, adding a little bit of censorship resistant ability to their content. We're going to have some folks talking about Noster. We're going to have guys talking about the tools. We're going to have, remember Tip, I don't know if you guys saw Tip,
Awesome.
Any of her performances. So she's going to be at the very last panel, but she made a post. Oh my gosh. It was so crazy, you guys. She did a post a while back and it showed her creative process, like her vision and how she did everything and organized her song and how she organized the visuals. And it looked like, you're just like, what the fuck, dude? And it was so cool. And I'm like, okay, you got to come and talk about your creative process, And so I think it's just so cool for people, to get inside each other's, workflow. And I'm so excited, to have so many of us sharing, because there's no one right way to be a creator. There's no one right way to be a Bitcoiner or an activist, an environmentalist, a healer, an entrepreneur. And obviously as Bitcoiners, we're all decentralized. We don't have a CEO and a company, and I think it's cool for us to be able to come together, in virtual space, because obviously we get to go to conferences, which is awesome. And I get to hug y'all, which is my favorite, but we can't always make it to conferences. And you think about new Bitcoiners and people who are curious, they're not going to Bitcoin conferences. So we need to bring it to them. And so what better way to get like an amuse-bouche, a little buffet, a tasting sample plate of all the different ways to jump into Bitcoin than bring it to them virtually and let them, watch it from the convenience of their home or whatever. And so we're just taking donations, value for value. So we have to practice what we preach to kind of see, how does this work? How are we going to do this? And our goal, like what you were talking about earlier, Ben, is having the splits after every, transaction comes in. We're trying to figure out, and this is part of what some of the devs are working on. There's Prism splits, and we haven't gotten to set it up and let it work properly. But our goal is like anybody who donates, via the channel, we want all 40 of the speakers to get splits instantly into their wallets, and so that's what we want to be doing going forward, right? So whether you're making a film or a piece of music or a podcast, it would be great, obviously, to have that instant settlement, instant, cool, I get. And so we haven't figured that out just yet for the show tomorrow, but any tips, any tricks? Like, do you guys know, like none of us have been able to figure it out. So
I
Let me know
think
if we can do that.
in the Nostr realm, if I'm not
I was going to say
mistaken,
same. Yes.
I think there's a way. First of all, I don't know if you knew, but do you know you can stream? Have you plugged into Nostr for streaming from Restream? Because I know that you're familiar with it.
Zapstream, yeah. So we're live on Zapstream right now. Are you on your channel there?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes. Yeah.
I just tested it out this week. I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to play with this.
Will you
yeah.
be doing the event on Zapstream then?
Yeah, the events. Yeah,
Oh,
the event.
so we can all zap you on there.
Totally. But so like, like obviously with like, so Podhome FM is who I use for my podcast. So every episode I could go in and I can do like, okay, Ben's going to have, 20% of this splits and da, 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 da. And I can donate some to OpenSats and Bitcoin for Peace, get some, whatever. So if anybody's zapping through Fountain and any of the podcasting 2.0 apps, it'll go straight to their wallets. But I haven't figured out how to do that with just a straight up QR code.
Yeah.
On screen. So if anybody knows, that's
In Latin America, we all use Blink. And
Say it again?
we have a pay code on Blink. Let me pull it up. Do any of you guys have a Blink account?
I don't. Like they
I
just pulled
do.
Blink out of our country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Everyone
don't
you
know
have.
who else has this, but you can go on Blink and do receive. Oh, it won't show. Sorry.
I
But
can.
this QR code is, you can actually print this pay code and use it 21 million times.
But does it split to 40
No.
wallets at the same time? If I send you 100 sats and I say I want it to go to 40 wallets,
I can't answer that.
yeah,
I
I think that's our next step, because think about it. So this is what we're also talking about with, do you guys know Lightning Piggy? The guys who are rocking Lightning Piggy, loving it. Right. And so, back in the day when I, was married, I saw my ex-husband's, our nephew, grabbed the credit card from, his mom. He's like, I'm going to go buy some game points. And I'm just like, and this was 20 years ago, and I'm like, why are you giving your kid your credit card? What if he goes, jacks it up and, the whole thing? And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we had something where, the kids had like their own little, debit card, credit card kind of thing. But then, anytime they got money in it from allowance, it would automatically get divvied up into however the allocation you want. And I call it the 5 discs, because donate, invest, spend, college, and save. Not that college is useful anymore for most professions, but this was 20 years ago. But I'm like, if we can overlay that on Lightning Piggy, you can overlay that on our own individual ways of operating business. There's certain business, models that say, okay, cool, pay yourself first, right? And so every time you get, $100 in, it's automatically going to go to certain accounts and operating accounts as a business person. And so I think there's a huge use case for this. And I think there's a huge use case, like, again, when you're producing music, when you're producing a film, when you're producing anything that has more than one person who needs to get paid, it's a great opportunity to like get money to them faster.
And at the business level, we could use, sorry, Val, you're getting me excited here, because we could totally use it in our business. Like the sales team will take a big brunt of commission in, but there's a big support team behind them. Yeah. And we do different things to try to incentivize everyone in the team. But if in real time through commissions that were coming in, some of the rest of the team could get hits of sats coming in real time to see and reward them for their efforts. For us as just a business, that would be absolutely huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that comes, you got to think that's going to be inevitable. But to me, that changes our business, because we're always trying to bridge that gap. But if the marketing team and the content team and the administration team, transaction teams are all getting pieces of this in real time, and if it could be throttled or adjusted pretty easily, wow. So
yeah, it's so important. I know I'm working with a client who's got a farm stand, and she had to turn her whole farm into a closed private membership model because she's getting sued by the health department for selling unwashed eggs at her farm stand. And so she said, fuck you, and closed the doors, but only made it membership model. And so now everybody's there, but she's got different vendors and different farmers that put their products and services on her farm stand. So we're working on this same solution. It's like, how do you go when you've got, 5 different vendors or 5 different farmers at the checkout? So instantly when you swipe and you pay in Bitcoin, X percentage is going to go to the farm because it's, they get a commission for being a consignment, but then whatever those payments are that are supposed to go, they go instantly to every farmer. Like, that's exciting. And so we're trying to, you know what I mean? And so think any shopping cart experience when you have a checkout, right? You want it to be able to go, cool, I'm in my Amazon, just whatever. You've got 10 things that you checked out with. Instead of it going straight to Amazon and you might get paid later at some point, it's like, cool, you're going to get all of that stuff taken care of.
What we could do at the community level, imagine the business, like for a while, a few years ago, we were trying to raise funds until the government just was crazy. We don't have to get into it, for hospital beds locally. Imagine through our business, we could just redirect some revenues instantly to a charitable event and publicly display that to get everybody excited to see in real time.
And you get the doink, doink, doinks. Yeah.
And then you're not really bullshitting either, because a lot of businesses, let's face it, are going to put something that they're donating. It's a lot of bullshit. I'm not saying everyone's bullshit. You know what I mean? But but if we could have that, that would get me excited. That gets your customers excited, and it just you're also serving the community. So there's like unlimited uses for that, for sure.
It's fun. And you think about any kind of nonprofit fundraiser, for an example, they do these like, the thermometer of like, yay, we're reaching our goal, and it's, it's paper and it's kind of, it's like kind of cool because you can do auctions, you can do all these little battles in real time. And when people get drunk at these fundraisers, they want to be the one swinging the big checks. And so on screen and everything keeps going up and the wallet fills up and people get excited and then everybody celebrates and confetti goes. It's great. So we
there's Bitcoin mercados, markets popping up in Bitcoin communities all over the world. Something like that could be legendary.
Totally.
Well done, because instead of having to orange pill 200 vendors or whatnot, you really just have to hit the market and everybody gets sorted.
Yeah, like Chief Monkey with Plebeian Market, those guys are working on it. And so my client, is working with him trying to figure it out, because that's what they're doing at Plebeian Market, and so so the brightest and best are on it. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
I think before
feels like it.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. So so that's what I'm bullish on, you guys. And so even if you can't make the summit and you want to get the recordings, and we're going to have all sorts of extra little cool things. And we've got some people who weren't able to attend on panels. And I know, Ben, next time you're going to be front and center. I know you've been traveling like a madman.
I would have been there if not for the fact that I am on dad duty tomorrow.
Daddy duty.
So I gotta make sure that I'm spending time with the kids, and the missus is doing a shift. She's a nurse, so she's working at the hospital tomorrow. So I'm on solo dad duty tomorrow, and as confident as I am on doing one or the other of those things, both at the same time will only serve to ruin your stream, I promise.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Yeah, you're just focus on those beautiful children. And but anyway, just people, if you guys want to sign up, you can go to bitcoinforpeace.org/summit. And we've had people donate 2 sats, and we've had up to $500 US donated also. I was like, whoa, thanks guys.
Wow.
But even if you can't make it, we're going to make everybody who registers, you'll get access to all the recordings and all the other goodies. So we want to make it for everybody. So don't feel like you have to sit there for 7 hours on a Saturday and watch all of us yap. So I think it's going to be great. So hopefully this will be the first of many.
I will try and at least peek onto the live stream and take in some of it. Perhaps if my kiddos get a little distracted by their toys for a few minutes, so I can partake in some and fill in the chat a little bit. But
awesome. Yay, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, let's put a bow on this one. Thank you, Val, for the topic. Very excited to hear how awesome everything is. And we're going to rotate down. And Amanda, I'm going to toss it to you. I'm going to cue you up with the same question everybody gets. Why are you bullish?
Cool. I think we have a lot of alignment, first of all, but on my own, I mean, I am so bullish about the momentum of Bitcoin adoption and Bitcoin economy, Bitcoin businesses. That's what I'm super, super bullish about. I really truly feel, I think the first time I met Val was the very first adopting Bitcoin I went to a couple years ago, on the day I landed in El Salvador and became super obsessed with circular economy. And I was like, I need to do this here. I'm in Mexico, let's go. And I studied everybody that I could and every economy. I talked to everyone I could. I think that this halving has brought a bigger momentum than we had 2 years ago. So I am really bullish about the amount of people that are seeing what's happened and doing it here. And the second part of what I'm bullish about is, there is a lot of micro Bitcoin economies happening in Mexico, and it's a really big country, guys. Like, look at the map. I mean, like, you take Canada and US and Mexico, like, we're grande. So on the Latin American front, alongside leadership of Bukele, this is amazing. So there's so many microeconomies in Mexico. And now, thanks to the ASO Bitcoin Association in El Salvador, we're able to bring as many of these economies together in La Paz for Bahia Bitcoin La Paz event. Aligned with kind of what Val said, we're getting out of the echo chamber. Sorry that my office is an echo chamber, by the way, for someone to say that. But we're getting out of the echo chamber, and we are inviting plebs from all over. We have sponsors, we'll talk about that, like, and supporters from all over the world, actually, so far, supporting this. And we're actually bringing plebs together to orange pill a community, but we're also at the same time inviting the whole community to where we are, and we have Bitcoin businesses and educators on site helping us orange pill the community and educate them in a 3-day event.
That is awesome.
Dude.
Where can I find, because I know it was shared.
BahiaBitcoinLaPaz.com.
Can you maybe if you type that into the private chat down below, and I'll pull it up in a window here. But so my guy in the background is also involved in. He's involved in a little bit of everything in this.
Sally!
Sally is a big part of this event. So I'm pulling it up. Let me just get it on my screen here.
Sally's going to be co-hosting. We have 2 legendary hosts that are going to be. So it's going to be Sally representing, well, everything Sally represents, including StatChain. And along with Andreas, son of Stats, and he has a podcast. You can check him out on X, but he's also part of the Viva Bitcoin team, which is, I mean, that team has really helped us make Mexico happen, really. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is it. There is an English version if you go to the top right.
Oh, yes.
If you're in Espanol, unless you want to roll with that. There you go.
No, that's awesome. It looks beautiful too. He did ask me to come down for it, but it's smack dab right before I'm on the road for another thing, and there's so many things go. I mean, I guess this is a whole reason to be bullish on its own. How many things are happening around, like as you alluded to? How many different communities are coming together and creating events and markets and educational opportunities and all of these different things? It's so much that, you know, I'm having trouble keeping track. Everybody's having trouble keeping track, and people have more than enough opportunity to hone in on the things that, not just general, but like that really kind of scratch their itch wherever they're at and whatever niche part of Bitcoin they're excited about. So I mean, this seems pretty cool. How did this come about in the first place? Like, what was the initial impetus for this?
Well, original impetus is again, there's micro Bitcoin communities across Mexico. I've really been passionate about trying to bring people together, because we're only going to really explode on a momentum level if we come together, because each community is doing something different. Like we have Isabella Santos, who's in Isla Mujeres, beautiful island. And she has a Bitcoin node now. Like she has a Lightning node, and she's teaching me Premier Bitcoin, and she has students, and it's the cutest thing ever. And people are coming to her, and she's so brilliant and community driven. So we have Isabella. She's on this island all by herself, right? There's a few projects here near where I am in the Yucatan, but we're all kind of doing different things. We have a few clubs that are nearby that are working on, Bitcoin business opportunities. We have a couple very successful Bitcoin businesses come out of Yucatan, but it's not a huge momentum. Then you go into Guadalajara. In Guadalajara, you have Chris Guida, who's one of the top Bitcoin developers. I mean, he's working with Nifty Nye, and they're in base 58 doing the LARP. You learned about the LARP, right? Ben, I saw you had a little LARP video out. So we LARP together in Guadalajara. We're going to LARP in La Paz. We have an incredible videographer coming out of Guadalajara, Panoramica Films. There's like so many incredible devs coming out. Then you have Mexico City. Lorena started Bitcoin Embassy how many years ago? So to me, Lorena really started like the very first Bitcoin community in Mexico. And we've all done different things. But when you look at the model of El Salvador, the one thing that really brought people together was having that one really special place. And in El Salvador, that one special place was El Zonte. I really thought where I lived was going to be the special place. Like literally my heart, really, I'm still kind of adjusting. But honestly, I went... after the halving party, during the halving party, I didn't realize that I had said to somebody from the ASO, I want to do what you're doing in Mexico. I didn't know who I made that statement to. And then I got to Mexico and was told, show me what's happening in Mexico then. So I did. And then a couple of days later, I got a message, okay, we'll be there in a few days to check it out. Whoa. Okay, so Sally knows all that story, I'm sure. And there we were, bouncing across Mexico in like a few weeks span. And when we got to La Paz, I was like, whoa. The momentum of the business community for accepting Bitcoin there, and how special this place is. Plus, not far from there's like a very cool citadel happening in Baja California. I know you've been invited to. And so like there's a lot of cool things. And when we got there, business people were actually coming to us to learn about Bitcoin. And we actually missed 2 or 3 days worth of flights. We kept missing flights because more people kept showing up. I want to learn about Bitcoin. I want to learn. So we're like, this is
Amanda, how was that happening? Like, why was there such momentum like that?
I still have yet to decide the whole sureness, but I think it's because they're so close to the border of California and Tijuana, Ensenada, they already have a dual currency, the US dollar and the peso, right? So for them,
so they're already thinking in two currencies. Yeah.
Parallel currency is no drama. Whereas when you have Mexico City, Guadalajara, Merida, like, it might be a little different for Isabella. She can speak to that herself, but it's, I think that might be the one, is because there's a lot of expats. They live a natural life, and the business community, they're like the Bitcoin heart. You know how in Bitcoin business, we don't say, oh, that's my IP. Like, get away. I can't tell you why or how I made this work. That business community is that way. Like, they help each other, they influence each other.
So there's a lot of sharing, right?
Wow, because I'm in a community where they need to lead by example, and it's slow to make the proof of work. That is different. So they're coming. And I mean, we have Athena Bitcoin. Athena is bringing in the very first ATM.
Nice.
POSs for a big list of businesses that want to be onboarded. He's going to be there, like they're going to be there days before we arrived, listing it all up. We have Heatmine, who's actually, they're customers of mine at Bitcasa Homes. I believe, Ben, you have a Heatmine unit.
I don't have a Heatmine.
I wanted to ask if you had one. I heard you were sent a version of a Heatmine, and I was like, well, it's summer. I don't know if you're using it, but
I built
so
one.
they're supporting us in an amazing way.
Yeah, I built one, but I don't have a Heatmine. I've not tried that one, but
you should check it. Okay, go on. I bet you he'll send you one if you ask him. Because you are in Canada, it gets awfully cold, so you get your butt down to the tap.
It does freeze here often.
But then new things happened. So like those, like Athena was already, I mean, very, very well involved with the ASO Bitcoin in El Salvador. I was already connected with Heatmine through my business. But as we were doing this, we got contacted through a company called Capital X. I had never heard of them. It's so like, the alignment is so special. They're here in Mexico. They have buy and sell Bitcoin off ramp to the bank, kind of like Mutiny, like you said, in Mexico. Like I believe it's instant, and they're offering Bitcoin collateralized loans. Like there's so many amazing Bitcoin.
What are they called again, Amanda?
Pardon?
What's the name of the company?
Capital X with a K, like KAP.
Capital X.
Capital X with a K. And then like when we realized that, like there is so many more Bitcoin businesses that fill the gaps that we're talking about that we don't even know about. So we need to keep doing things like this so we bring everybody together. Like this is the only way I think we'll take over. We all have different roles to fill.
Can we just ship you around the world and you network with everyone the way you are? Because this seems rather incredible. Like, can we just plop you in different cities, like give you 72 hours? Like come back to Toronto, just 72 hours and do what you just did. And then we'll set you
like it can't be when it's cold. I don't do cold.
Oh, okay, do it in the summer. We're fine. We just want it. We're desperate. Can you just make it happen?
Yeah, you bring me and I don't do cold. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, just plunk her in the center.
Yeah, plug it in. Oh my God, I'm like a clap on.
Oh, I've never heard of this company, Capital X.
I'm so stoked to meet them. So like these are the things that are coming. Like I'm really excited. Thanks, Sally.
There we go. I got to do some research and look them up. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, yeah, it sounds like it's a lot of because again, the nature of Bitcoiners to kind of once somebody has a blueprint for something, they're like, hey, replicate this and improve it. And so I think a lot of that can happen. And once, you know, like El Zonte kind of gave a bit of a blueprint to other local kind of communities to grow like that. And people have taken that and run with it in various places. And again, you get educators like the people at Me Premier Bitcoin. I saw them shouted out in the chat earlier from Operation Bitcoin saying that they're changing the world with their education. Absolutely. And so they've open sourced their whole curriculum and said like, hey, take this, use it as you will. You know, like there's all these initiatives, and even, you know, I get people that reach out to me, hey, can I use your videos for whatever, or can I translate your videos and put them on my channel? Yeah, absolutely, just take it, go ahead. That's great. The more I think this attitude allows things to proliferate much quicker, and I love to see it, and I hope to see more of it. And in and around that kind of local circular economy, you know, we're trying to replicate something similar here in Calgary. I hope to kind of bolster it more and more as time goes on. The next one we're doing is actually on Canada Day on July 1st. We're doing the third SAT market. We had one in and around Christmas time. We did one at the end of March, and then July 1st coming up soon, which is just before the Bitcoin Rodeo that we're hosting here in Calgary, which is a 2-day conference leading up to Stampede. So very excited for all that. But again, it's like getting in there, trying to replicate something that has happened elsewhere, and then building and improving upon something and seeing what the community can bring to the table. So yeah, I think it's great. I love this topic, and I'm glad that you brought it up. So thank you, Ahmed. I appreciate it.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
Back at you guys, though. I think we're here because we're all doing pieces, and it's really special.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's great. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to continue down the line now. We are going to get into our next reason for being bullish. I do have to take a quick 1 minute break. I do want to say to everybody in the chat again, thanks for being here. We've already had 1,300 people tune in, which is fantastic. So smash that like button, give this a share. We still have Tom's reason for being bullish, and I'm very excited to hear it. But up first, I'm just going to do a quick shout out to our remaining sponsors here, and we'll dive right back in. We will be back in just 1 minute. So we'll see you guys. Hang tight. Multisig and inheritance planning, it's hard to beat NUNCHUK.io and their Honey Badger program. On your mobile device, they allow you to set up a full multi-signature vault. And once it's done, you have baked in inheritance planning so that your Bitcoin gets to your next of kin if anything should happen to you. On top of this, the entire thing can be set up with devices like the Tap Signer, the Cold Card, and plenty more options. And the whole thing can be done without KYC. You don't need to give up your personal information to have it set up and working for you. You can check them out today over at nunchuk.io. When it comes to peer-to-peer trading and lending, instant self-custody, and no KYC, HODLHODL is the place to be. You can sign up with just an email address, and once you're there, you can start browsing offers immediately, whether you're looking to buy and sell or whether you're looking to lend or borrow. You can check them out today at the links down below. All right, we are right back in, and we're not going to waste any time. Tom, I'm going right to you. I'm queuing you up with the final same question of the evening. Why are you bullish? Go ahead, man.
I thought I was going to say because we have some real estate investors now selling property for Bitcoin. So I can see it happening. You know, a member of our team sold a property for Bitcoin. Just last week, I had 2 different clients of ours decide to sell some real estate to buy Bitcoin and add Bitcoin to their portfolio. So I thought that's why I was going to be bullish. It is interesting to see because I feel like that's the very beginning of the demonetization of real estate. Like we're seeing it because these are real estate investors who are holding it as a store of value, now deciding to let go of some of it in exchange for Bitcoin. So to me, that's like a big deal, but I don't want to make it seem like it's an avalanche either. Like this is just the beginning. After pounding the table for 4 years about Bitcoin, I feel like we're, finally some clients are doing it, and it's all different ages too. You know, it'll be like someone in their late 30s, a client in their 50s, and then we have some clients who are taking self-custody, and they're, in their late 50s. So like this is all new. We didn't see this before, and they want to take custody. So I thought that's why I was going to be bullish. But really, and by the way, there's other real estate people that I know in the community that are Bitcoiners, and they're so close to coming out saying they're Bitcoiners, but they're a little hesitant to say the words. And I can see that, you're in real estate, your income's dependent on it. So I can just say that for us, talking about real estate has created probably more trust with clients, and it's developed better, deeper relationships with our clients because when we're having deeper conversations about real estate and money. So if you're on the fence about sharing these kinds of things, I would just push you over the edge and go for it. It can feel scary, but it definitely seems to work. But I thought that's why I was going to be bullish, because that's pretty exciting. But this week, Ben, in thinking about coming on here, like this week's like wild to me because my son started working with us in the business on a full-time basis, just finished university. And and my daughter's 18, my son's 22. He's been in the Bitcoin world for 4 years.
Nice.
Wow. Like think about what percentage of their lives, like I was like selfishly thinking about me and the family. Yeah. But like think about what percentage of their lives have been spent thinking about Bitcoin.
Wow.
Like it's 20% of my daughter, it's over 20% of her life already. So we have another generation coming up and they're just talking this language fluently.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like what are sats and how does this work? And a lightning address. They're asking, what's your lightning address? How do I do this? Oh, do we have this yet? What's happening? Like, to me, having that generation coming up native almost to Bitcoin is bullish. So, and hope that it gives them for the future, because now I can have conversations with both my children about, hey, we can store the value that you're creating in something that's going to give you a better life going forward. You don't have to be an armchair economist. You don't have to be a quasi real estate investor if you don't want to. You have this ability to store your time and your labor in something that is immutable. And this to me is bullish as a father. So to me, because it changes the frame, like now they get to think about the future differently. Offer value to the community, earn value, save in Bitcoin. My savings don't get destroyed, so I don't have to worry about what I'm going to invest in a TFSA account in Canada and like RRSPs or 401ks, and it's just like a nightmare, right? So to me, that just makes me super bullish. The second thing is, guy in the parking lot of our office walks by me. He's like, hey, I think I saw you online. You're like this weird real estate person that talks about Bitcoin. I don't, but I think we have something in common. So this guy, investment advisor, for over a decade, then went into private equity and commercial real estate. Now he's launching a fund. Listen to the, I can't say that. I don't know if I'm allowed to really say his company name yet, but this is happening right now. We had a chat yesterday. He's starting a fund where they're going to raise money. So they're going to buy like 10 million in Bitcoin. Then from the Bitcoin, they're working 3 Canadian lenders that they're in talks with right now that will use the Bitcoin as collateral to get a fiat loan. So if they have 10 million, think about how we've reversed roles here. So Bitcoin is the collateral. They get a fiat loan. So 10 million, they get a 5 million fiat loan. They're going to buy a multi-unit residential real estate property. Combine the two together and launch this fund. What this allows him is he can talk to some investor clients, and now it's not a Bitcoin thing. He can talk about, we're doing this real estate investment. Here's the fund. Under the hood, he's using Bitcoin, kind of like in a mini Michael Saylor sort of way. And now we have people having conversations where, like, Amanda, you're having conversations, Val, you're having amazing conversations. And now he's having conversations to investors who would never have such a conversation. And it's just like this little detail under the hood that Bitcoin is kind of serving. And he's deep down the rabbit hole. So this is like what I would call a mainstream institutional guy who is now like can't sleep at night and is excited to launch this, and he's doing all the legal work for it right now. Wow. So that got me. So to me, I'm like, he left the office. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yesterday? I'm lost. It's been a week. But I just sat there and I was just completely freaking out. Like, how far have we come in 4 years? Yeah, to me, for my journey and through this anyway. And then today I got the chance to speak with Max Hillenbrand. Do you guys know Max?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So like, this guy's 27. I told him he pisses me off because he's so smart. Like in Austrian economics, I'm like, dude, this is like, who are you? He's like 27. He's spewing Austrian economics knowledge, recording this stuff. We're going to share it as a podcast. Nice. And you have him out there kind of like preaching this stuff, teaching all of us, sharing this knowledge. So I'm like, there's this guy roaming around some forest in Europe somewhere, Max, because I know he's in a forest somewhere doing something. Oh, he's out there having a good time doing this. You have a guy in my parking lot talking about starting a fund with Bitcoin. You have my kids who've been in it for like a huge percentage of their lives. And you have some real estate investors who are selling real estate to buy Bitcoin. So to me, it's like, I'm like, okay, like, here we go. It feels inevitable. And I know Bitcoin's not inevitable. Like, we all have to work it. We all have to talk about it. We all have to play our part. I totally get that. But I feel like the best protocol wins, the best network wins. There's only one winner. It's like a black hole that sucks in everything in the best possible way. And when I look at the people involved in it, like, look at Val listening to you. Like, I'm just getting to learn about what you're doing. And then Amanda, to you, and Ben, all the content you do, I'm like, these are some of the best and brightest minds I've ever come across. Like, I was in the corporate world for a while, and a lot of people there just irritated me. And I'm listening to all this kind of stuff, and I'm listening to you guys, and I'm just thinking, like, these are very smart people, and they're all contributing. Makes me fucking bullish.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like I can get pumped, you know? So anyway, I think I'm like, sometimes I just get pissed off, to tell you the truth. Just like, I want it to just happen fast, but it needs to kind of evolve. But when you see the problems in society and you see some of this stuff evolving, it does give you just this awesome hope.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway,
That's
some of the reasons I'm bullish.
We all get to live in the future a little bit earlier than everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just it's frustrating not seeing everybody else catch up at the same time.
Yeah.
But to your point about your kids, yeah, I mean, I feel so much the same way for multiple reasons in and around the next generation.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's turning 7 this summer. She has never lived in a world where Bitcoin didn't exist, which is
Legends.
right. Like that's
Beautiful.
crazy. And she's been around it her whole life. And like we, you know, when she was younger, she used to make little stores in the house. She'd find like items from around the house, and then I was supposed to come and like buy them. But so it'd be like,
I
Nice
love
to do
it.
that.
yeah, it'd be like my keys and like a book that she found downstairs and like one of her stuffies. But then I was like, oh, this could be fun. And so I took the iPad and I put a Bitcoin wallet or like a Lightning wallet on it. And then I got her to like type in how much she wanted to charge, and she would like hit the button, and then I'd pull up my phone and I'd pay, and she'd get the check mark. She'd be like, ooh, yay. And like, you bought your keys. Yay. Congratulations.
That's so cool.
And
Yeah.
so like she got used to the idea of like, okay, well, this is something, you know, familiar. And then the whole family went to Madeira for the conference, and
Yeah, the kid zone.
they had the kids zone there.
Kid zone was the best.
Like,
I saw the photos. That looked amazing.
That was my favorite part of the whole conference was the kid zone.
That was in their plan.
I mean, they had, if I'm not mistaken, they had like Jack Mallers and Dorsey go and like do a little chat for the kids in like a tent. And that, which is like obviously the kids are like, who are these guys? But like the fact that these like heavyweights of industry are just like, yeah, cool, we'll just like go chat with the kids about Bitcoin. And they had all this programming for them. And then they also had like for like really young like toddlers, they hired nannies and everything so that like families could attend these things. And like these kids are going to grow up and not just the kids that are going to conferences, but like I was just in El Salvador. They did a high school graduation. I sat across through a rotation of high school kids that I had to quiz on not just Bitcoin, but like monetary knowledge before they graduated. So like it was like me using a translator on my phone being like, what is inflation and what causes it? And then them actually being able to put together a cohesive answer afterwards, which like is more that I could say for myself and 99% of my graduating class from high school.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, I think financial literacy is such the thing that we need the most, and we're taught the least. And you know, when you're learning it at a young age, obviously, you don't have to unlearn all the bullshit that we've been programmed with for, you know, decades and decades with fiat. And so the younger generation, I think, is a lot more open, and their minds are malleable. And obviously, if they've got great parents like you guys and all the other wonderful parents out there who are teaching this, you know, they're going to have a head start. But it's harder to get us older people, you know, to switch gears, especially, you know, think about it, like all these, you know, these people who have been in TradFi for so long, and they're like, yeah, I've made my money. I'm a hedge fund guy. I'm a this, I'm a that. The minute you tell them that their whole model is wrong and broken, they're going to resist because their egos and everything relies on the old model being true. And so they're the last dominoes to fall sometimes, not always, of course, but so I think focusing on the young people, like Scott is talking, you know, they've got
I was just going to say
kids,
that.
Scott and Tally.
Kids
It's ultra important. And to get financial literacy, not just in an after school STEM program, like it needs to be in high school curriculum. It needs to be in junior high. It needs to be in college. And I love, Ben, like obviously what you're doing with Me Premier, and it's so like that to me is like the secret sauce that we should be focusing at least some percentage of our time as Bitcoiners is working with kids and supporting the young people. And because they're excited, and that's obviously how Bitcoin Beach started, was because of the young people getting excited about Bitcoin and seeing how this can support them. So I applaud everybody who sees that as part of the future. So yeah, go kids, go team Bitcoiner kids. Yay.
I wanted to tag on to your how you were saying like, oh, there's going to be the people that are the last dominoes to fall. It reminds me of an article. Did you ever read one? It's called, I've got it right here. It's called "Why the Yuppie Elite Dismiss Bitcoin."
I forget who wrote that.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
I haven't read it, but I think I saw that a while back.
I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah, it's great. It's literally like it's literally just describing how people that are so entrenched in the fiat system and have directly benefited from it are directly incentivized not to recognize that everything's about to change. And it's a good read. Croesus is awesome. He's so he is now part of OnRamp. They have like the multisig solution. So anyways, he's the one who wrote it, but this is like Jesse Myers is his name, but this is back before he was like a public when he was still anonymous. But anyways, yeah, he wrote it for Citadel 21 and it's online. But
I just had this exact experience about this article. Sorry, you're giving me flashbacks. We were out for dinner with a few families. None of them are Bitcoiners. And my wife's, the whole experience of like, Tom, settle down on the Bitcoin stuff. Like, we just want to go out for dinner here. Right? And I'm like, so everyone here gets it where I'm going here. And then we're having dinner, and then somebody works on Bay Street, which is the Canadian Wall Street, but, been there for a while. And somebody in the party there says, oh, I heard there's a Bitcoin ETF now. So we can all argue about whatever ETF, good or bad, but it did make the news, and she mentioned it. And the guy who works on Bay Street spoke up, sitting right next to me. He's like, well, us in the community, it's approved, but it's very volatile. Like, we're not like, it's available to you now, but it's not something we would recommend. And I'm sitting there thinking compound annual growth rate history of Bitcoin over the last few years in my head, just cutting my steak. Like, and I know my wife's thinking like, don't do it. And in that moment, I didn't do it. I can't hold myself back, but that's kind of where sorry?
Put the knife down.
Yeah. All the moments we have, but that was that article, Ben, that you just brought up, as exact moment. He just couldn't see it. Yeah.
He probably isn't aware of the history of Bitcoin. Like, again, he just thinks, I don't know. It's to everybody. Like, we still have people that say tulips. Like, the fact that is in anybody's head is insane to me after 15 years of like, volatile but progressively up, like for 15 solid years. How can you even try to use that?
One thing that seems to have worked for me is I've asked a few of them, I'm like, do you know what the compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin is over the last 4 years? Because we can admit it's been volatile. And they'll say, oh yeah, it's like, I heard it went up and then it went down, and I don't even know what price it is now. And I'm like, well, guess, like, what do you think the compound annual growth rate of it is? And when you tell them the 4-year compound annual growth rate, like over the last 4 years, what it is, and it just blows their mind, right? And I don't know what it is today. I don't know today's exact number, but it's probably somewhere between 55 and 70% or whatever it is. And that to me gets through to that crowd a little bit. Yeah. So that's kind of been my angle a little bit now. Like, oh, you're looking at 7% returns?
Yeah,
I just like to tell people, like, whatever you were taught in the traditional school system about finance is literally the opposite of how you'll succeed. And I mean, we have Bitcoiners who are now, because of our Bitcoin lifestyle, can homeschool their kids. And so we have like the Bitcoin homeschooled kids, like what Free Market Kids is doing. Those kids are blessed because they end up living with Bitcoin, just like Ben's kids are living with Bitcoin and others. But in the traditional school system, they're going to keep coming out until we infiltrate, like Me Premier Bitcoin did in El Salvador. We have to infiltrate that. Yeah. That's what we have to do. We have to break it. We can't have the same system without breaking it.
Yeah. I love that Austrian economics is being taught to a younger generation now.
Yeah.
Like,
in a fun way. Like, this is what's so cool about what Scott and Tally are doing is it's not just, let's go look at some graphs, kids. It's like, no, let's play games. and it's gamified, learning through games. And it's very, very, you have to meet people where they're at. And obviously children get met because they're having fun and playing. And obviously, when you set up a little store in your house and you get to go, sell stuff, like that's where we meet each other. And, I think for any of us who are trying to understand and learn how to communicate to whoever is in front of us in the moment, it's like, what's their pain point? What's their thing that they don't want to lose? What's the thing that they want to gain? Just like you said, Ben, with like buyer psychology at the checkouts, people are more inclined not to want to pay extra than they are to get the 20% discount. It's just it's a thing. Yukai Chow is one of my teachers, and he has a framework called Octalis' Prime Framework. And he's a behavioral scientist and works with Google and all these things about how to make your product sticky and, keep people coming back. And so you have to know, like, in addition to know thyself, like what motivates you, like think about what motivates people in front of you. Is it loss? Is it recognition? Is it gain of skill? Is it accumulation of numbers? And so designing your communication and your products and services, when you understand that thing about your customer or who's in front of you, it supports your ability to communicate more effectively and share wisdom with them that's going to be more potent. So CAGR is a big one for people who are in that space, right? So I think
we got them. We got them now. We got them.
You got them. Yeah, it's great, man. What I want to, Tom, I want to ask you. Can I ask Tom a question?
Oh yeah.
Ben? Is that okay? This is something that I'm personally dealing with. And, of course, anytime we all have problems, we think about new products and services to build, right? That's what we do as Bitcoiners and as entrepreneurs. I talked with Peter Dunworth about this at Bitcoin Advisor because I was trying to figure something out. And then there was Orange Homes, or I forget the name of the company, but they haven't launched yet. But, right now I was thinking I'm going to put my house on the market because obviously, in fake numbers, it seems like it's gone up and it seems like there's a lot more equity in there that's doing nothing other than just sitting, and I want Bitcoin, but I don't want to sell my house, and so I was wondering, like, could we do and I don't have a ton of cash flow to go get me, another a HELOC or a home equity loan, and I have a really low mortgage rate because I was lucky when I got it, years ago. I was like, what if we put something together that's like a co-signing as a service business where, let's say, somebody over here has got, a bunch of ability to have, to co-sign for a loan, like a HELOC for me. And then we take it and buy Bitcoin, stick it in a multisig, give them an X percentage, points for, doing the thing. And then, they'll have access to, so you'll have double collateralization as a second on the mortgage. And then you have that chunk of Bitcoin that's just sitting there that they'll have a key. And I'm like, there's probably a lot of folks out there. Obviously it's a specific market as Bitcoiners who understand this, but and then you don't have the risk of using your own money, and you get to use the bank's money. And so I'm wondering, have you heard of anybody doing that? And if not, let's do it.
I know, right? Yeah. I'm with you. It's great. I'm hearing rumblings of like multiple announcements about to be made shortly, but that's all I have. It's like literally grapevine talk that stay tuned. You're about to hear some stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sounds like it's coming. I don't even think we'll have to do it. I think that we're going to have multiple solutions. Talking to the gentleman I was speaking to just this week at the institutional level, I was shocked that here in Canada, he was going to have 3 different options for what he was talking about.
Nice.
And I think at the residential level, we're going to have it. So
also,
yeah.
if you look into
Val, I wish I had more. Like, I wish I had sorry, Amanda. I just wish I had a direct kind of, yes, go to these people, but I don't. It seems
So the one that I was talking about here in the States is called Orange Bridge.
Okay.
They haven't launched, and I was trying to see like, okay, how do we do this? And so they haven't gotten it yet, as far as I can tell.
Okay. So I'm hearing similar things up here that like
Cool.
kind of stay tuned. Things are about to launch around this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited because it's inevitable that these things are going to cross pollinate. Right. And
Totally.
they need to. So we'll stay in the loop. We'll stay connected, Tom.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
nail
I
that
had never
North
heard of
American
this.
market, guys.
Yeah, Orange Bridge,
Nail it.
orangebridge.com.
Huh.
So so that they call it like co-lending. But I'm thinking even more like this is obviously a bigger, play to have it be a company. Like I'm thinking more of it being like a marketplace.
Yeah, like peer to peer. Yeah.
Yeah, if you had a marketplace model that was sort of like an eBay for this or a Craigslist, so that it's just, okay, there's
Sure.
a guy out there. And then that way you don't have to navigate all the NMLS stuff being a lender. So it takes
Yeah,
a
and
lot
I
of
think to
friction
Ben's
out.
point earlier, if somebody templated it, like, okay, here's the contract, here's how it would be set up,
Yeah.
then I think it would roll out quick. I think there's demand for that right now. I mean, I'm
There is.
interested
It's just is there capital or their dollars, and that.
Oh, there's absolutely capital in it. It's happening in other countries, guys. Just not been cleared in Canada and US yet. But these exact
And that's where
models
if you do peer to peer out of
Yeah.
the gate, and then start to get some traction with some peer to peer, then you can say, look, here's a couple case studies that worked. This is safe. You're
There's
money's safe.
loopholes. There's a lawyer in Florida who already has 2 underwriters in the US that will allow people to sell in Bitcoin. And that's in Florida. I'll give him to you guys. He's a friend of BJ Dichter's. And he's circumnavigated the US market through Florida. So I'm sure he can advise both of you guys how to navigate North American market that way. Because there's so many loopholes. You just have to play in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that, Amanda. If you could, that'd be great.
Yeah, I will. I'll send you his name's Charlie. I'll send it in a bit when we're finished up. Because you guys, I think, will have a good time with that.
Hoseki. Who's Hoseki?
No say.
I do not know. I've not heard of them. Seki.
But the truth is, what Tom spoke to you about real estate, most of the world's GDP is tied up in real estate. So when everyone in the world, and this is happening in Dubai in a big way as well, all overseas, when we move that into Bitcoin, it's finished. There's no more fight. We win.
This is that Hoseki thing that I love it when Pood in the cereal brings useful information for all of us, which he often does.
PITC.
And the best idea to name his cat or her cat, who is this Hayek, to force conversations. Like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah. Food in the cereal is full of great ideas. It's amazing.
Welcome to Bitcoin Business 101.
yeah, exactly. That's the best part about Bitcoin is it'll just be some nim on Twitter or on Nostr, and they'll actually, it won't matter because they've actually brought something useful for you, and you're like, oh, thanks, random poo emoji.
This is the not hoarding IP. Like, we all have so much to do. It's like, please go for it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Awesome. Well, guys, I am cognizant of time here. I got to start wrapping, but I like to end every episode a certain way. At the end of each episode, I like to do a quick round of any final thoughts that you may have, anything that you kind of took away from the episode that you'd like to kind of sum up. But also, if you can, a recommendation. And the recommendation can come in many different forms. It could be a useful website that you found, a book, a video, a movie, maybe an app or a device that you really like, or it could be as simple as a piece of life advice that you think might help somebody in their Bitcoin or Bitcoin adjacent journey. So with that said, I'll kind of sum up my thoughts and give a recommendation. You guys could kind of stew on that for a minute of anything that you might want to throw out. But yeah, I mean, takeaway from this one is, I mean, just as the examples that were thrown out here, there's so much being built that we're just not even familiar with. Like that, I think I discovered 4 new things that I had no idea about just in chatting with you guys for this past 90 minutes. And that's the case with most conversations that I have. Oh crap, I didn't know that existed. I should try that out. And so I think the free market, along with free market money, is doing its thing to the extreme. And it's not, obviously there's going to be things that succeed and things that fail. But I do think that Bitcoiners, at the very least, really, really try to build these things with a low time preference and kind of look to the future. And so I think that some of the hit rates of like, are these things going to succeed, can be, there can be a bit of a better threshold with that, or at the very least, the lessons learned in them are taken and then added into new apps and products and everything down the line. In terms of recommendations, I think my takeaway from today for a recommendation that I'd like people to check out, I'm still on this Mutiny train here, Mutiny Wallet. I think it's pretty cool for those in the US that are looking to figure out how to get Lightning on your mobile device, but are maybe a little like you just don't know where to go, and you're dancing that line of like, do I just use just straight up custodial something, or can I kind of find something a bit better? Mutiny may scratch that itch for you. So if you just go to mutinywallet.com, it'll show you there are links. You can get it from the App Store, but you can also just click use in browser, and then it'll open up the app in your browser just like a regular wallet. It has a 12-word seed phrase. And then you can hit in the top of your browser the 3 little dots and either add to home screen or install app, depending on whether you're iPhone or Android. It'll add it as like, it'll have the little logo just on your home screen on your phone. And then you don't have to worry about if it is no longer in the App Store. Well, hey, it's still accessible because it's a web-based thing. Your seed phrase just works like normal. But it's nice for onboarding to Lightning because of the way it works in the back end. You don't have to deal with setting up a channel right out the gate. So you can receive Lightning payments instantly without any additional fees. And that's because they're using Fedimints in the background. Don't need to know what that is, but it just makes it work. And it is better than relying on a singular custodian, because the custody is split amongst a multisig of multiple parties. And so they would have to kind of all rug pull, and anybody can set up a Fedimint, but that's what's happening in the back end. And then there's a simple button. Once you kind of build a big enough balance where it makes economic sense to open your own Lightning channel, there's a button that says swap to self-custody, and it will make your own Lightning channel, and you'll have it direct to your own Lightning node on your phone. So it's like this, I think it's a pretty elegant bridge that never relies on a singular third party to fully custody for you. It relies on kind of this distributed Fedimint model. And then when you have enough to actually matter, you can swap to self-custody in a single tap. So I think it's a pretty good option, and especially in light of Phoenix being gone and, you know, a lack of good options in the US, this one can be installed from your browser. So check it out.
Well,
yeah.
Awesome.
So with that, I'll toss it over to Val. I'll get your final thoughts and any recommendation you may have.
Yeah, like thanks again for having me and doing this all the time, Ben. You're the bomb. Thebomb.com. You know, I got reinvigorated with the conversation about the kids, you know, and as a mom, I've got my daughter just graduated high school this last week, and I have a son who's, you know, about to start driving. Oh, good God. You know, and they're not into Bitcoin yet. They still think mommy is crazy, which I am, but in a good way. But it just, you know, thinking about Scott and Tali with Free Market Kids and just what they're really aiming to accomplish is very, very important. So I would love for folks to go support them and go support the project and understand it. Even if you don't have kids, like maybe you've got nephews, maybe you've got, you know, neighbors who've got kids, it could be something interesting to get some games if you're a Bitcoiner and support, you know, their project, and then obviously support orange pilling people in a cool way. So, yeah, I would say that. And obviously I'm super excited for tomorrow, and I'm really, really grateful. You're welcome, Scott. I'm really grateful for all the folks who are contributing their time, you know, and we're all, again, everybody's volunteering. And I just, one of my biggest passions in life is like, I love to celebrate and promote other people's awesomeness. You know, it gives me a lot of joy. And so getting to do this tomorrow feels really good to my heart. And I'm just super excited. So thanks again, and I'm so happy to see you guys and to meet you, Tom, and I love you, Amanda, and yeah, and thanks everybody for tuning in. You guys are the best. So stay orange, and keep on shining.
Awesome. And remember tomorrow, what time does it kick off?
11 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, so bitcoinforpeace.org/summit. It's right there up on the screen underneath Val. So head there tomorrow.
Yeah, head there. It's going to be great. And it'll be on all the channels. And again, all the recordings will be available to anybody who registers, and we'll send you guys some goodies.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. All right. I'll toss it down to Amanda next. Any final thoughts, recommendations you may have? Go ahead.
Final thoughts, I think, are going to take me a while to put together because this was so awesome. I need to replay all our conversations in my mind. I just, every single one of you inspired me today, literally. So this was good. Final thoughts is not what I originally wanted to say. What I want to say is spend time with clubs, because this is what happens when you get out and you spend time having these. You hit conversations and you touch levels with people that are different when you're clubbing, So get out, because that's the only way we're going to vibe out and have ideas and solve problems and fill holes, as if we do this. So yeah, thanks Ben for bringing us together. It's really special. Thanks, guys.
I'm glad to have had you guys. So thank you. Tom, I'm going to toss it to you. Same thing. Any final thoughts or recommendations? Feel free.
Yeah, I guess I just feel blessed to be able to hang out with you three. I mean, it's kind of inspiring. It gives me an idea that the future will be able to stop speculating and start creating, because I feel like in my particular business, it's full of great people. But can you imagine if we unleashed those people in a different direction? Why should we exist in my business and what we do at Rockstar, right? It's not even a misallocation of capital. It's a misallocation of human potential. And I feel like Bitcoin's going to bring that back. And it gives me a lot of positive hope for what we're going to see in the future. Because if we can release all this mind power to focus on creating value instead of, hiding from debasement, it's powerful. So that gets me pumped. And then just to leave everyone with something, I think, Amanda, something you said, I had a younger person in our office say that they didn't really want to go to Bitcoin events and they were a little bit introverted and didn't, and they recently went to one and they made some great connections and got deeper understanding. So I just kind of want to piggyback on that, get out there and network. And, Val, good luck with everything tomorrow. That seems like a big thing you're pulling off there. And Ben, thank you for the YouTube videos. And Amanda, it sounds like a great event. So if you're able to participate, just participate in these things, get involved.
I love it. Well, thank you guys. This has been awesome.
Friday, way to start a weekend.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I mean, there's been just over 1,800 people that have tuned in.
Oh, wow.
Yay! Thanks,
everybody.
So yeah, hell yeah. Thank you guys for being here. Everybody that's been in the chat, thank you, especially the hot tips from Poot and the Cereal. Love that. But I love to see
yellow in here.
Yeah, exactly. Love to see all you guys in here. So again, make sure you give everybody a follow. All their handles are in the show notes as well.
Yay.
And thank you guys. You're welcome back anytime. Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
Thank you. And thanks, Sally, for getting us this all
See you
together.
tomorrow, love. I'll be there.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks.
Yeah. See ya.
See you guys. Have a good
Aloha. Yay.
All right. And everybody stick around for just a moment. Thank you guys for joining again. Make sure you smash that like button. Give this a share to anybody you think may find it useful. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That always helps a ton. I do want to give a shout out as well. Tons of stuff going on next week. Make sure you tune in, because we're going to have more tutorials. The new show, we got Why Are We Bullish next week as well. I am going to be doing some more travel. So next Friday, so we're going to have an early Why Are We Bullish next week, because next Friday I am flying to Norway. I'm going to be there with Alex Gladstein for the Human Rights Foundation, the Oslo Freedom Forum. So I'm very excited about that. And then I'm heading straight from there to BTC Prague, which is it was amazing last year. I'm so excited to be back. If you want to check out either of those things, just go to my website, btcsessions.ca. There's an events page. You just click there and it'll let you know where I'm headed next. And, you know, if you're going to be bumping into me, just let me know. I'd love to see you. And there's more from there. I'm going to be, there's many things coming down the line. So I'm going to be adding in a few things here coming up towards the end of summer into the fall, so you can know where I'll be there as well. Also, want to give a shout out to my latest venture. We've been doing spaces 3 times a week with my new company, Bitcoin Mentor. You can find them just by clicking the booking on my website. It'll take you to bitcoinmentor.io. And so with these guys, what I've been doing is I've been doing one-on-ones, booking directly with people to help them through if you're going through the tutorials on the channel and you can't quite figure it out and you need some additional hand holding. That's what I was doing, one-on-ones. Turns out there were more of you than there were hours in the day. And so I had to put in some work, and I'm very happy to have put my head together with my co-founder Mike, that's also from Calgary with me here, and we put out the word and said, hey, would you like to come with us and be Bitcoin educators? We had 350 people apply to be educators, and we whittled it down to only 16. So we've got a team of 16 people. They're absolute legends. They're doing spaces Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I believe at 3 p.m. Eastern time, to answer all of your Bitcoin questions in a big forum. But also you can reach out to them and you can book them for one-on-ones over at bitcoinmentor.io or just on my website by clicking the booking page. But they can help you through everything: wallets, hardware, multisig, running a node, Lightning, Liquid, Fedimints, you name it. They'll be able to help you out. So huge shout out to them. And I'm super stoked that they're doing all the spaces. That was their own initiative. We got a bunch of educators together and they're like, yo, we're going to start doing this. We're going to do this. And they're pumping out killer, awesome content. So be sure to hit them up. But anyways, guys, I'm out for now. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.